The Straw Hat Pirates had barely celebrated their victory when the Marines suddenly appeared on the horizon. Standing at the front of the Marine ship was Vice Admiral Garp, a powerful and respected Marine, and to everyone's shock, Luffy's own grandfather. Without hesitation, Garp attacked their ship, determined to capture his reckless grandson and put an end to his pirate adventure. Luffy protested, shouting that he had no intention of becoming a Marine. He had already chosen his path. He was going to become a pirate, and someday the king of the pirates. The battle between the Marines and the Straw Hats quickly erupted across the sea. Cannons fired, waves crashed, and chaos spread across the deck of the Going Merry. The crew struggled to keep the ship afloat while trying to escape the overwhelming Marine firepower. Nami quickly took control of navigation, shouting orders while steering the ship through the battle. Zoro tried to assist while Usopp attempted to load the cannons, though not very successfully. Despite the confusion, the crew managed to fire back and create enough distraction to escape. Luffy then did something unexpected. Using his rubber powers, he grabbed one of the cannonballs and launched it straight back at the Marine ship. The attack shocked everyone, including Luffy himself. It was a move he had never tried before, but somehow it worked perfectly. With the Marines momentarily stunned, Nami seized the opportunity and steered the Going Merry straight into a thick fog bank. Hidden by the fog, the Straw Hat Pirates finally escaped from Garp's pursuit. Once the danger passed, the crew began assessing the damage. The ship had taken a few hits, but nothing serious. However, there was still tension among the crew. Nami and the others couldn't ignore the shocking revelation that Luffy's grandfather was a high-ranking Marine officer. It raised uncomfortable questions about what kind of enemies they might be facing from now on. But before they could discuss it properly, something else caught Luffy's attention. While standing at the bow of the ship, he suddenly smelled something delicious drifting through the fog. Following the scent, the crew soon discovered a strange floating structure in the middle of the ocean. It was shaped like a giant fish and looked unlike anything they had ever seen before. This was the Baratie. The Baratie wasn't just a ship. It was a floating restaurant famous throughout the seas, a place where sailors, pirates, and travelers could all come together for an incredible meal. The moment Luffy heard the word restaurant, his decision was immediate. They were going to eat. Inside the Baratie, the crew was amazed by the lively atmosphere. Cooks rushed around the kitchen, customers filled the tables, and the smell of delicious food filled the air. But not everything was peaceful inside the restaurant. In the kitchen, a young cook named Sanji was arguing with the head chef, Zeph. Sanji had created a unique dish using rare ingredients, but Zeph immediately rejected it. According to him, the Baraties served classic meals, not experimental creations. Frustrated, Sanji complained that he was tired of cooking the same dishes over and over again. But Zeph was stubborn and ordered him to stop cooking entirely. Instead, Sanji was forced to work as a waiter. When Sanji approached the Straw Hat table, his personality became immediately clear. He flirted shamelessly with Nami, praising her beauty with dramatic compliments while barely paying attention to the rest of the crew. The crew enjoyed an enormous meal, eating far more food than they could possibly afford. When the bill finally arrived, Luffy confidently declared that he would pay for everything later, after he found the legendary treasure, known as the One Piece. Unfortunately, the restaurant didn't accept promises. To repay the massive bill, Luffy was forced to work in the kitchen washing dishes. While scrubbing endless piles of plates, Luffy began talking with Sanji. During their conversation, Sanji revealed his true dream. He wasn't just a cook. He wanted to find the All Blue. The All Blue was a legendary sea where fish from all four oceans gathered in one place. For a chef, it was the ultimate paradise, a place filled with ingredients no one had ever tasted before. Luffy immediately encouraged him to follow that dream, just like he was chasing his own dream of becoming king of the pirates. Meanwhile, far away from the restaurant, Vice Admiral Garp had not given up the hunt. Instead of continuing the chase himself, he contacted one of the most dangerous figures in the world, Dracul Mihawk. Mihawk was known as the greatest swordsman alive and one of the 7 warlords of the sea. These powerful pirates worked with the world government in exchange for freedom to operate as they pleased. Garp gave Mihawk a simple request. Find Luffy and bring him in alive. Back at the Baratie, the Straw Hat crew was relaxing after their meal when an unexpected visitor arrived. A tall man carrying a massive black sword walked calmly into the restaurant. It was Mihawk. The atmosphere immediately changed as everyone realized who he was. When Mihawk asked for Monkey D. Luffy, the crew tried to deny knowing him. But Zoro stepped forward instead. For years, Zoro had trained with a single dream in mind, to become the greatest swordsman in the world. And standing before him was the one man who held that title. Without hesitation, Zoro challenged Mihawk to a duel. Everyone was shocked. Even the crew tried to stop him, knowing how powerful Mihawk truly was. But Zoro refused to back down. For him, this wasn't just a fight. It was the moment his dream had been waiting for. The next morning, the duel began. At first, Mihawk didn't even take the fight seriously. Instead of using his legendary sword, he fought with a tiny dagger. Even so, Zoro struggled to keep up with him. The difference in skill was overwhelming. Finally, Mihawk decided to end the fight properly. Drawing his massive black blade, Yoru, he struck Zoro with a devastating slash. Zoro collapsed, badly wounded. But even in defeat, he refused to turn away. A true swordsman, he said, would never allow scars on their back. Facing death head-on was the only honorable path. Impressed by his courage, Mihawk chose to spare his life. He told Zoro to grow stronger and challenge him again one day. As Zoro lay injured, Luffy rushed to his side. Through the pain, Zoro made a powerful promise. From this moment forward, he would never lose another battle until he became the greatest swordsman in the world. The Straw Hat Pirates had survived another deadly encounter. But the dangers of the Grand Line were only just beginning.